Good day, everyone. Once again, my name is Oluwafemi Damlola. This is the ICAN guide. So, going straight to the point, the topic for this time is I have failed before. What is the way forward? I have failed before. What is the way forward? So, like I've been saying earlier, these are my opinion, or this is my opinion, and also gotten from the help of God and the Holy Spirit. So, going straight to the point, all through my life, I've never had a cause to write any paper twice. Like, it has been something that I've always been proud about. I studied economics in the university, econometrics, and all those difficult papers. I wrote them once, and I came out with a very good grade, 4 point and above. So that has been my pride, even going to the ICAN, that I will not have the cause to write any paper twice. So I've always been proud about that. That it has never been my CV to write a paper twice. So in my foundation level, I wrote 5 papers: management information, financial accounting, taxation, business law, and business management and finance. So out of all the papers, there is one which is related to the course I study, which is business management and finance. So I wrote the 5 papers, and I was certain that I was going to pass the 5. But God being God, or life just happening, I passed 4 papers and I failed 1. I was surprised because when I saw my scores, I could have won prize in foundation because I had very, very high scores. But because of the one I failed, I could not even say I was moving to skills, talkless of winning a prize. So when I noticed that I failed business management and finance, and so before I even talk about the failure, the funny thing was that there was a lady that has written that paper, I think 2 or 3 times. So when I joined the tutorial center, I told her that at this business management and finance, if I should teach you, I'm very sure you're going to pass it, because it had all this NPV and some other motivational theories, theory of needs. So I told her that if I should teach her, I was very sure she was going to pass it. And lo and behold, she passed the paper, and me, the teacher, the one that God has used to teach her, actually failed. So it was so funny. But what did I do? I knew I was not a failure. So failing 1 paper out of 5, or failing all the papers out of 5, does not mean I was a failure. What I did was I just had to strategize that what were the things I didn't really do, what are the things I didn't read. Because what happened was I underestimated the paper, thinking because I had studied economics that I would have found it easy. So I didn't really prepare as much as I had prepared, as I ought to have prepared. So what I did was I just had to prepare better. I didn't attend lectures for it again. I read my lecture notes. I picked up past questions, solved as many past questions as possible. I was able to buy a past question that had about 20 diets. I made sure I solved all the questions in the 20 diets. I made sure I did that. I solved all the questions in the 20 diets. I read my notes. I read a bit of the ICAN pack. And when I was going to the examination, immediately I saw the question the next time, I was already sure that I was going to pass the paper. So what I did was I did not dwell in my failure. So some of the mistakes that we do is we dwell in the failure that I have failed. Can I pass this again? Can I pass this again? Life might happen again as you might fail it the next time. But failing it the next time does not mean you are a failure. So what I did was I just moved on immediately. I saw the results. I moved on immediately, started preparing for the next diet. I wrote skills again. I wrote 5 papers. I passed 4. I failed audit, the one that people had thought was the easiest. What I did was same thing. I left the failure immediately. I saw that I failed the paper. I moved on immediately. I congratulated my friends that passed the course and that passed and are moving to finals. But I was grateful that I had failed, because if I had not failed, maybe I would not have been able to win ICAN Prize in professional. So I was grateful that God showed me, God made me feel, or I failed some of these papers. I was actually happy, and I was grateful to God, because at the end I came out victorious. So what I did was immediately I noticed that I have failed a paper. I don't dwell in that failure. I'm not a failure. I just happen to fail a particular course in ICAN. So what I do is I strategize. I go back to my drawing board. Okay, what can I do best? Read all the topics, solve past questions, so I can acclimatize to how they solved and they bring out the questions and what the examiner is actually asking or intending me to write out in the examination. And the next time I wrote the paper, I passed it and I moved to the final. So what I want us to just pick from this particular topic that I have failed before, what is the way forward, is 1, once you notice you fail, do not dwell in that failure. That's the first thing. Do not dwell in that feeling and stop calling yourself a failure. You have only happened to fail a particular paper. Next thing for you to do is now to go to your drawing board. What should I do next? How can I approach this thing? Then go to past questions and check what the examiner has written on the major pitfall that students have done. There's always a guide on that. They always tell us that, okay, students didn't approach it this way, student did this and student did that, and with that I'm very sure that you're going to come out successful. So because you have failed before does not mean you are a failure. Do not dwell on your failure. Go back to your drawing board, re-strategize, solve as many past questions, and go to the exam board as though you have passed. So just go back and tell yourself you have passed without even seeing the results. You have passed, and I'm sure you are going to pass. So once again, this is the ICAN guide, and my name is Oluwafemi Ososan. God bless.